Whew. I am finally in the third trimester of my first pregnancy, and whew, I am glad that I'm here. I'm a little out of breath, which is definitely something that's going to happen throughout all stages of pregnancy. But I wanted to take some time to really recap on the second trimester, tell you a little bit about everything that I experienced, the highs, the lows, and everything in between, so that if you're going through the same journey, you can hopefully learn from this, you can prepare, and you can feel like you're not alone in any of this as well. During the second trimester, there's a lot of really cool things that start to happen. And for me, they really started to happen and I really started to feel a lot of different things. At week 18, I really started to pop. I think before this, I definitely was able to still wear a lot of my clothes, my leggings, my sweaters, sweatshirts, some of my husband's clothes if I was feeling a little bit bigger that day. But then by week 18, I was like, oh my gosh, there's a belly forming. I don't think I can fit into my pants anymore. I might need to get some maternity clothes. So it really starts to make a big difference then. I think the first trimester, you don't even really notice you're pregnant. You just feel like you're getting chubby, or that's what happened to me. And then you actually get to learn your gender of your baby, which is really exciting. If you do decide to figure out the gender, they're usually going to figure this out at your anatomy scan at 20 weeks when you get to meet your little baby. You get to see all of their fingers, their toes, all of their limbs, and you'll eventually be able to figure out the gender. You can also do the blood test. I think that's a little bit earlier, so you might be able to get that done, figure out what gender you have, and then you can start doing some of your nesting. It definitely was the time that I was most excited for because I was really able to identify who was growing inside of me and have a name picked out that we're using and really start to think of the baby that's growing inside of me and what they're going to be like, start picturing it more. So that was really, really exciting. And the best part that starts to happen in the second trimester and maybe before, if you're really early down there, is you're going to start to feel the little babies. At first, they're going to be just little flutters inside of you. You don't really know what it feels like. It might just be indigestion. You're like, what is that going inside me? But then you really start to feel all of the kicks and pushes and punches. And honestly, at this point, they're not that uncomfortable. You're kind of just feeling baby move in there. Baby's still a lot smaller, so it's not taking up so much room. And your partner might also begin to feel them as well from the outside as you get towards the end of your second trimester, which is a really cool experience because then they actually get to feel a little baby and experience the pregnancy with you instead of just listening to you talk about it or complain about it or not have good sicknesses around it and be a witness to that. They actually get some of the really fun, exciting parts, which is really, really cool. Now, let's talk about some of the things that started to happen as I was in the second trimester. And the first one is cravings. I definitely started to notice that my sweet tooth was amping up. I definitely wanted cookies. We went to Crumble Cookies almost weekly. Every single time they'd be like, see you next week. We literally saw them the following week and I could name all of the cookie flavors that they had. We started getting ice cream and candies and I definitely just felt like my sweet tooth was really coming out. I think this is probably a trend between a lot of pregnant mamas out there, but I also had kind of the opposite side of that as well, where I also was craving really healthy foods. I wanted to eat salads and good proteins and things that I felt were going to build a strong baby inside me. And maybe this is just mentally me thinking about what I should be eating to make a strong baby and how I could still eat healthy during pregnancy. But I definitely was craving a really good salad every single day to get some good veggies in. I was drinking a lot of green smoothies at this time. And then towards the end of the night, I was like, okay, get me a cookie. So I definitely felt like there was kind of both sides of it. I didn't really crave too many salty foods during this or some weird foods. I was not craving like Oreo cookies dipped in mayonnaise. I don't know how people have these weird cravings, but I did not have any of them. I would just be like, oh my gosh, I really want ice cream. And all I could think about was ice cream until I got it. And then I'd feel satiated by it and I could move on with my day, with my week, and be totally fine until the next craving would hit. But that's definitely something that I was a witness to, and is probably why I started to grow a lot bigger in the second trimester. Whew. Okay. Let me tell you, the ability to talk and not get tired it hits you. You get way more tired, and that makes me think of some of the other symptoms that I started to get at this time during the second trimester. One of which is I really started to grow, and not only where the belly was, but also just like everywhere else. These boobs used to be really small and now they're quite large. I had to up my bra size not one, but 2 times. And I definitely feel like my pants and clothes were getting a lot tighter during this time. You can start to see the scale go up a lot, which can be frightening, especially I think growing up, the scale was always something that I measured a lot of times, and seeing it go up was frightening. With that growth, it started to come lots of hunger. As I said earlier with my cravings, it was no longer could I just eat my regular meal sizes. Honestly, I feel like in my first trimester, I was probably eating the same or less than pre-pregnancy. And in my second trimester, I was definitely so much more hungry, to the point where I would just get hangry every couple of hours, or I'd feel really lethargic if I didn't eat. And I started to notice that as my stomach was growing a lot larger, there just wasn't enough space to put all the food that I wanted to eat. So I started to need to change how I was eating. Instead of eating 3 regular sized meals, needed to split those up throughout the day. So I'd have like breakfast, midday, mid-morning snack, lunch, mid-afternoon, dinner, something before I go to bed, just because I wanted to eat so much food, but every time I would just try to eat like a large meal, I would get sick and nauseous and get a heartburn. So I started to really change up how much food I was eating. I was still going to consume a lot more than pre-pregnancy, but just like portioning it out throughout the day. And I've heard as you go into the third trimester, you need to do it even more because baby's growing, taking up a lot of room, moving a lot of things down there that there just isn't enough space for everything. I also found that I was a lot more thirsty during the day. I have this really amazing cup that I use. It's like a dupe of the Stanley. It's really, really great. I really love it. I'm washing some of it, so the lid isn't on it right now. But this was really great because I'd fill it up and then I could have water wherever I was. Sometimes you're just like walking around doing chores inside and you just get so thirsty. So having this has been a lifesaver because I have enough water that I can go around, be drinking all day, and keep myself hydrated during this time. I also found that throughout the day, a lot of my movements, I was getting a little more additional pain. I have heard that people will get more back pain. I was getting some pelvic and side pains, especially when I slept, because when you're in the second trimester, you really can no longer sleep on your back. So you have to sleep on your sides. And sleeping on my sides is not something that my body truly enjoys. So that's been a really hard adjustment. And I still feel a lot of those pains as I go into the third trimester now. I'm trying to do a lot more exercises that I see online in order to help combat against this. But you're going to need a lot of pillows. I have this really amazing wedge pillow, which I'll put a picture of it up right here. It's really amazing. I didn't end up using the pregnancy pillow. I just kind of stuck in a bunch of pillows around me when I sleep, and I have the little wedge pillow, and that's been, so comfortable. I don't even think I can sleep with it without it. Like if I traveled, I would have to bring that little wedge pillow because just, the belly needs the additional support. So that has been something that has been a lot different pre-pregnancy. The first trimester, I definitely felt really tired, especially at the end of the day. I would just be so lethargic. And in the second trimester, I really felt the boost of energy, which everyone does say that the second trimester you get that energy back. I think because your body's just more used to what's happening on inside. And I definitely can attest that I got a lot more energy. Now that I'm going into the third trimester, it's plummeting a little bit, especially after a long day of work and doing activities. The bottom of my feet will hurt. I just want to put them up on my couch, on a footrest, or just even lay down in bed at the end of the day because my body is just like, you're carrying an extra like 20 pounds and we're tired. We need to rest. So definitely take advantage of that additional energy during the second trimester. If you used to work out, but you couldn't in the first trimester, or you never really worked out that much, take this time to work out. I try to go to the gym the same amount of cadence that I went pre-pregnancy. I just am doing a lot more modifications during my workouts. I'm not doing that much plyometrics or jumping, running. I'm more doing like speed walking, stepping, anything like that. But I still try to really go, especially when I know I can have this energy, because I think as I get closer and closer to baby's due date, and then a little bit after baby's born, I'm not gonna have that energy. So I want to do it now and make sure that I can really help my mental state and keep myself ready to go. And mentally, I think during this time, it's definitely hard. It's really crazy to think of the fact that you're growing something inside of you, especially if this is your first pregnancy. Like me, it's really weird to be like, there's something in there. There's something growing inside of me. That's been really, really weird. Really crazy. And I think just like mentally watching yourself grow has been really hard. But beyond that, I've been really positive. I think this is a time where you need to think more positively. And the more positive you are, the more positive things will be. So keep on smiling, pushing through. We're more than halfway there, and everything is going to be amazing. Now let's talk a little bit about some self-care and must-have items for the second trimester. We talked a lot about how I think working out has been really helpful during this time. I think if you didn't move before pregnancy, even just walking, trying to do any type of activity, go to the park, being outside if the weather permits, is going to be just something that you can get some extra vitamin D and start to be around a community of people that will make you feel good and be able to talk about everything instead of just being cooped up in your house. And some items that were really helpful for me working out was getting some new sports bras, leggings that actually fit, and workout tops that were made specifically for women that were growing bellies, that have maternity clothing for them. So I'll include some of my favorite leggings down below. I also have a really nice legging that I actually bought pre-pregnancy. They're similar to like a dupe of a Lululemon fit, and they've actually fit me throughout all my pregnancy. My belly's getting kind of big right now and they still fit. I just put them a little bit below the belly, but they're really comfortable. In regards to sleeping, because I think relaxation is really important, you are going to need to get some type of pregnancy pillow. As I said, I love my wedge pillow that I have. It is amazing. And I think there's some really great maternity pillows, but you're definitely going to need some things for sleeping on your side, because it is something new that maybe you weren't doing before, and your body's going to need some support in the belly and then also between your legs. So that has been something that's really, really important. Something that I also mentioned was hydration during the day. This cup has been a game saver. I think that you need to stay hydrated throughout your whole pregnancy, and having a cup that you really like, that you can take with you, that can stay cool, that maybe has a fun straw, is going to motivate you to drink more, just like this one does for me. And hopefully you can find a cup that you really like, and I'll include this one down below also. As you're growing bigger and bigger, these girls and this belly is going to need some additional oils and lotions. I've really loved some of the cocoa butters from Palmer's. They do a really nice maternity stretch mark removal type of lotion. I also use some additional oils. So usually what I'll do in the morning, I'll use lotions. So every morning I'll use just lotions on my body. And then at night, I'll usually use an oil so that it can really soak in while I'm sleeping. And it also doesn't get my day clothes all oily, because I have noticed that when you put oils on, they'll get in, seep through the fabrics. Whereas in my pajamas at night, I don't care as much about if they have oil stains on, because nobody's really going to see them. But really up to you. Just something to think about as you're putting on oils on your body. Another thing that was really important to me during the third trimester was some supplements. You all need to be taking your prenatals every single day. And I definitely started off with some gummy chewable ones, especially in the first trimester when I just was getting kind of nauseous if I would take regular pills. It was an easy way to make sure that I got my prenatal in every single day. During the second trimester, I finished that one bottle and I moved on to just a pill prenatal, because there is some additional items that they don't always put in the gummy. My doctor actually told me to switch to a pill once I felt comfortable, but she was like, if you're going to eat them, do the gummy if that's what you need, and then switch over to something else later on. So I've really enjoyed both of those. Something else that's really, really helped, I know we all love our Tums during heartburn, but one hack that I have is I actually got this CalMag bottle, and it was a game changer. Now, you're supposed to eat just like 1 tablespoon per day, but I would split it up, eat it before every single meal. I would just take a spoon, pour a little bit on, tasted really, really good. It's like vanilla flavored. I saw it on someone else's YouTube channel, and oh my gosh, it was a game changer. It's just like a super Tum. It works so well. We got a second bottle because I used it so much. My husband now is using it if he gets stomach aches, and it's just a game changer. That was the one thing that really like changed my nausea and heartburn when I would eat. So I completely recommend, definitely check with your doctor on all of these, but my doctor approved it, said it was totally fine, and it's been amazing. Second trimester has definitely been a really exciting time. I felt so much more energy. I've been able to do a lot more things. And as I go into the third trimester, I can already see a lot of my body changing and the way that I'm reacting to the pregnancy. I definitely have the classic nesting bug going on right now, but I'm excited to share exactly what some of the things that happened in my third trimester. So stay tuned, and I hope you enjoy this content, and I'll see you guys again next time. Bye.